doing, everyone? Welcome to this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show, where we talk about life. Excuse me, we talk about liberty, and we talk about the pursuit of happiness, and we show the world that as Cajuns do have intelligence. Hope you're having a good day, good week, wherever you are, because remember, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Hope you're having a good day. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot going on around the world today. There's the debt ceiling crisis, and there's a lot of things that are happening in this nation right now, but there's a lot of things that are happening that is also behind the scenes. Are these things news capturing, or are these things, pressing? No, but I think we need to address some of these things and really concern ourselves what's going on beyond what's happening with the debt ceiling crisis. Look, don't get me wrong. I think the debt ceiling crisis is a big deal. I think that Congress should come together as two bodies and try to come up with a deal. And we have a deal with this. We know Kevin McCarthy, they're worried about certain people in the congressional leadership, Chip Roy and others, that will not back this deal. There's Democrats that are saying that they're not going to back the deal with the ceiling crisis. But I think there's a lot of things that are going on in the moment that we also need to worry about as well. And this is going to be one of them shows where I take a detour of what's happening, because I'm one that believes if something is happening here, always look left to the right to see what's going on there. And there's a lot more stuff in Congress right now than just the debt ceiling. You might think, well, that's the only thing pressing right now in Congress is the debt ceiling. That is the most important thing they have going on, but there's bills that are happening. I heard the other day that Joe Biden went ahead and vetoed a bill on his debt. That was the third veto. I didn't know he had a second one. So there's things that are happening in Congress. Things are getting done, but they're not being told about. Why? Because mainstream media is so focused on just the debt ceiling. And one of those things I think we need to talk about is AM radio. For years, AM radio has been the standard, I guess you could say, for car radios. And AM radio is real neat. If you look into the details of AM radio and FM radio, in the 80s, AM radio was facing a fate like it is now, but there was one man that came out and said, you know what, I'm not going to allow that to happen. It was Rush Limbaugh. At the time, AM radio was the pedestal of talk news. And Rush, I think they had other people before, but Rush mastered the talk radio empire. He went ahead and he reshaped AM radio of how it was supposed to get done. And it's no big secret why I do what I do today, because I was influenced by Rush Limbaugh. Now, I'm not as successful as Rush yet. I'm believing that this podcast is going to take off. I have looked into radio stations that I could possibly afford or something of that nature. So I'm planning on expanding this show more than just podcast form or YouTube form or streaming platforms. And that is my goal. I'm working things in the background. But ladies and gentlemen, going back to AM radio, this show right here, podcasting and a lot of talk podcasts, were also influenced by Rush, because Rush was the one that saved AM radio back in the 80s, close to the 90s. And AM radio is still like that. There are still people that are on AM radio with talk shows. One being our good friend, William Wallace of For America. And I was on William Wallace's Facebook Live show the other day, and we talked about things that are pressing in America. But William does a show, I think, on Tuesday nights for a radio station outside of Slidell, Louisiana. Now, why am I talking about AM radio? Because I feel AM radio is back under attack. There are some car makers, to name a few, Tesla and Ford, that feel they don't need AM radio in their vehicles. Their excuse for this is that AM radio, the AM frequency that goes to the radio so you can listen to it, it's interfering with the electric vehicles. Now, it's funny how this is coming out, ladies and gentlemen. We're hearing everyone say this. Go to electric cars. Go to electric cars. Buy electric cars. It's good for the environment. It's good. You know, it cuts down big oil. All the stuff is good, but it's taking out one little frequency. Just think about it. One little frequency of an AM radio can mess up the whole car. What happens if an EGP or EPG happens and it shuts down all that? Look, that's one small frequency of AM radio. This should right here tell people to stay away from electric cars and stay with gas. Oh, Isaac, that's hogwash. Really? Well, Tesla and Ford. Now, Ford has backtracked. Ford said they're going to put them in the new, I think it was the 2024 Mustang. They was going to take it out. They're putting it back. But these car makers are pushed by the federal government to create EVs. But one small frequency for the AM radio, it messes it all up. Ladies and gentlemen, that right there should concern you. Look, I've already said this. I've looked at Teslas. I can't buy one. Hopefully, maybe one day I could. But it just shows you that if a little frequency or a frequency like the AM radio can mess up the whole car's performance, God forbid there's anything attacking the electric grid or something, EPG happens and all our electronics are gone. Just think about that. That's one thing. But these car makers are saying, well, this frequency is messing up, so we're just going to pull it out, which has led to a debate. Why? It was a while back, and I had it in my stack. I was supposed to talk about it, and other stuff came up. I think it was from the Daily Wire. The Daily Wire asks if the liberals were using car manufacturers to kill AM radio. Why? As I said, because most talk show hosts are still on AM radio. Also, AM radio is one of the most reliable frequencies out there. Look, I remember when I was young, when we had to evacuate for a hurricane. Everybody was asking, do you have a transistor radio? Do you have a small radio that catches AM and FM? The reason was because if emergency goes out, AM radio, 9 out of 10 could get that through the storm. You can still have the radio. Now, FM is strong too, don't get me wrong, but AM radio is usually where the government goes ahead and broadcasts emergency frequency or emergency reports, which has led Congress to start trying to pass bills that it is mandated in these vehicles because they want to take them away. And the government is like, hold on a second. You are trying to take away something that's going to protect people in a crisis. That might be the only way of communication is AM radio to say what's going on in the world. And these car manufacturers want to take it away. What if they're, and I know they use it here in Louisiana for hurricane evacuation routes. If there's an emergency and they need people to divert somewhere, they tell you to turn on AM radio to a certain station, and the government can go ahead and use that frequency or that channel to tell you, hey, which way you need to go. Now it also goes to another point too. A lot of people say, well, what about my phone? My phone can do that. The government can contact me on these cellular devices and they can go ahead and tell us what roads are closed. Yeah, but what if the internet's down? What if the cell towers are down? What if your phone dies? Because look, I live in Louisiana, so we live through a lot of hurricanes. And you know, every time the weather's out, you have to buy battery packs to charge your phone because we don't know if electricity is going to be out for 3 hours or for 3 days. We just don't know. But AM radio, if you have a battery charge, you might even ask that, well, what about the double A's? Well, you can buy a 20-pack of double A's and those batteries going to last for a while. So that is the government's proposing, is to try to push these car manufacturers to start doing this. Now, this is also raising a lot of concerns as well because people are writing articles and saying, hold on, no, this is the government forcing these private car ownerships to do it. No, it is. I think it should be regulated. Now, let's go back to why I think a lot of these car manufacturers are doing this. Like I said, there is a theory out there that there is some in the left that are helping these car manufacturers, and then they don't want AM radio there. Why? Because conservative radio. And ladies and gentlemen, conservative radio is never going to go away. There is some on FM as well. Me personally, I don't use AM. There's stations that I know of, and if I hear some of AM radio, it's over the web. It's a podcast, which I think is one of the reasons why these car manufacturers want this out as well. We're going to dive into that in a minute. But is it the left trying to take away AM radio? No, I think honestly these people in these big car manufacturers are trying to save a buck, and they trying to put radios in there or trying to get the frequency out so they don't have to deal with that and install that in their computers or whatever the car has the radios right now. And look, I can see the government side of it, which I am for the government side, for protection, for, you know, what if there is an emergency and you're in your car? Because if you're in your car and it's run by gas, you can go ahead and ride around and hear the radio and hear the news and try to find out, hey, what's going on? What is the government doing? What is happening with this storm? I'm using Louisiana terms like for storms and stuff because, like I said, AM radio is useful down here. AM radio helps us to know what's going on through a storm. If the electricity goes out or if you don't have an electric device to go look at the news. So I can understand the government's involvement in this. They don't want it to go away because of emergency purposes. But going back to them taking away radio, ladies and gentlemen, they've been trying to do it for years. So it wouldn't surprise me if that happened. I don't think so. But there is a possibility because a lot of people don't understand that the government bailed out the car industry. Well, Detroit. We're going to use Detroit because a lot of the car makers are out there. A lot of the car manufacturers they were bailed out by Barack Obama when the first recession happened, I think in 2008. The car industry was about to go bankrupt, and the government went ahead and stepped in and paid its bills. Who's running the government right now? Well, that is the not so great Joe Biden. Joe Biden is and there's a lot of things going on in the Joe Biden administration right now, and they don't want nobody to question anything they do. They don't even like when CNN does it, and that's a shocker because CNN hardly never does it. But they don't like when people do pushback. And AM radio is there. Also FM radio that has talk radio on it. Mostly conservative talk radio, because if you ever listen to liberal talk radio, it is boring. It really takes a good entertaining person to make a liberal show work. Every liberal show that has been out there, to my knowledge, has not succeeded. Now I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me as gospel. But ladies and gentlemen, they're only funded by money, and they praise Joe Biden, so he ain't worried about that. And ladies and gentlemen, if you take away the competition, it works. Now, like I said, there isn't no proof. It's just these are things that are floating around that the car industry is trying to stop. They trying to stop another Rush Limbaugh from rising up. I don't think it's going to happen because of my next point. Why I think a lot of these car industries are doing this as well is because of podcasting and streaming platforms like Spotify and Pandora and YouTube Music and iMusic. You can name all of them. All these platforms. If you pay a monthly subscription on it, you get Ultimate Music, the unlimited music. Correction. Like me, I am a Spotify user. I pay for Spotify, and me and my wife, we have a family pack. And guess what? We listen to any type of music we want on our own profile. I don't know. Now I do listen to 96.5 KPEL and a few other some local radio stations when I'm in my truck because I don't have the capability of running Spotify through my truck. But in my wife's car that has the capability of me playing music through the stereo, we usually put on Spotify and we listen to music. Or if I'm alone, I listen to podcasts. Culper's Canteen Cup, Scott Ford. I listen to a lot of my friends. I listen to, there's a new one out there. I can't think of Terrence's podcast, but there's a Christian podcast. Brother Just Searching. I listen. But Terrence has a podcast. I have friends that have podcasts. And I listen to these podcasts. and Matt Walsh. So I think this is one of the issues why they're slowly trying to get out of radio with the AM frequency and possibly in the future FM radio, because everything is run on the internet and you have streaming platforms. I talk to a lot of friends. They listen to podcasts and they tell me it's easier to go ahead and listen to a podcast because you can pause it and come back and listen to it. As for the radio, you got to listen. Look, Dan Bongino's on for 3 hours. Why does Dan Bongino still have a podcast? Because his podcast probably gets more hits than his radio show. Don't get me wrong, his radio show is good. It's 3 hours long. He gives out good content, but the podcast is still growing even with his radio station. I mean, with his radio program. Why? Because people like me, I listen to Dan Bongino every so often in the car or on the radio when I'm in my dump truck, but I listen to his podcast. And I think this is one of the reasons why they're trying to get out of this radio style, because they want people, or they want people to buy subscriptions if they have a subscription plan. But people are switching their radios off and turning on their phones and listening to music or listening to podcasts on the chosen platform they're listening on. We right now are going, we're through a car radio probably right now. If you're listening and you're listening in your car, we're in your car and we're not on the radio. Like I said, I'm looking at those avenues. I'm trying, and that's little background stuff. I'm looking into stuff like that. But ladies and gentlemen, if I'm going through your car radio, I'm not on the radio. I'm on the radio because of your phone or the listening device you have on. And I think this is why it is an issue for car manufacturers. There's a few things. Like I said, I see both sides of this. Now, going back to the government side, should they require cars to have this? Yes, because of emergency purposes. And if we find another way to go around that emergency, around the AM radio, the government shouldn't tell them, hey, you need to put it in there. But for right now, there, to my knowledge, and I could be wrong, there is no other option to go with that. So I think car manufacturers should keep putting these radios, the AM frequency in their radios in the car, because you don't know when you're gonna need it. And I'm just rather be safe than sorry person. That's who I am. And I'd rather have something in it that I never use, and when they will need it, or when I would need it and not have it, then you're stuck in a pickle. And that is my thoughts on this. I just, I think you need to know this is going on in Congress right now. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back in a few moments. How you doing, everyone? Isaac here. I'm the Cajun Conservative, and I want to thank Brother Lanny Hayes from Hayes' Dump Truck Service for their generous support of the Cajun Conservative and Brothers Just Searching. Hayes' Dump Truck Service serves the Lafayette and surrounding areas. If you have any job that you need done, like cleanup or hauling material to your job site or your home, we haul limestone, we haul sand, we haul topsoil, any type of material you need. If you're in the Lafayette and surrounding areas, please call Brother Lanny Hayes at 337-852-8043. Remember, Hayes' Dump Truck Service, where Jesus is Lord of the company.
With your blood, cleansed and made us whole. Not one hoof, not one soul.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the second segment of the Cajun Conservative Show today. Superstar pitcher Clayton Kershaw comes out against his team, honoring group that mocks Christianity. So Clayton Kershaw is one of the, I think is the ace pitcher of the Dodgers, and he is the one that came out and announced that they were relaunching on his Twitter page the Christian Faith and Family Day at Dodger Stadium on July 30th. Now, when I first heard of this, I told the audience, if you live in Los Angeles, don't go. But I think my opinion is starting to change on this, because Clayton Kershaw is a believer, and they had this before all this stuff started. Now, Clayton Kershaw, in the article, I think it was to the Time magazine, where he wrote with the Times saying that the date was pushed up because of the current controversy, but he disagreed with the Dodgers doing this in the light of Pride Night or Pride Month or whatever you want to call it. And look, shout out to Crenshaw, because he's standing on his beliefs. That's where I'm bringing this out right here, because I have another article of another baseball player, and it came out today, and it was a ball player. He caved to the Blue Jays, another team, and the Blue Jays are in Toronto, which is Canada. And if you think America's bad, just remember this, conservatives. If you think America's bad with the socialistic ideas, go to Canada. It's worse. Justin Trudeau has brought that country so low. I wouldn't even name it a democracy no more. It's sure not a republic. And Justin Trudeau has taken away most of the firearms. He has pushed left-leaning agenda on everybody. And look, I'm happy I live in America. Do I agree with the left? Absolutely. I disagree with the left totally, but the Constitution stands in their way a lot. Do you honestly think if we didn't have the Constitution, the left wouldn't have taken away firearms already? You know what's stopping them from taking firearms? The Second Amendment. You know what's stopping them from turning off podcasts like this? The First Amendment. Our Constitution is by far the best document on the earth at this time. Well, document, I can say the Bible. The Bible is a book, but as for a country's laws, the Constitution is, it's there. It's stopping a lot. But going back to this, like I said, I commend Clayton Kershaw, and I hope he stands firm. He even put Faith and Family Day back, and that's why I said you should stand up, because he's standing up for his belief. Let's go. If you live in LA, go encourage him. Go to this thing and help him out. But going back to this, Toronto Blue Jays pitcher Anthony Bass apologized on Tuesday for sharing a post on social media encouraging Christians to boycott companies and brands such as Target and Bud Light for how they have embraced the LGBTQ community. The Blue Jays posted a short video of Bass on Twitter addressing reporters with a brief statement expressing remorse for boasting the viability of a video on Instagram, making a biblical case against spending money to support businesses that are pushing people, partially children, to darkness. This is his quote. "I recognized yesterday I made a post that was hurtful to the Pride community, which include friends of mine and family members of mine, and I'm truly sorry for that," Bass said. "I just spoke with my teammates and shared with them my actions yesterday. I apologize with them, and as of right now, I am using the Blue Jays resource to better educate myself, brainwash, I added that in. He didn't say that. To make better decisions moving forward." He added, "The ballpark is for everyone. We include all fans at the ballpark. We want to welcome everybody. That's all I have to say." I'm not arguing that you can welcome anybody. I'm not. I'm going to start off right there. I'm not arguing that you should shun certain people out of certain locations. But what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. I was in a debate the other day on TikTok where I had a person reach out to me and tell me that facts are based on what you believe in. No, facts are not what you believe in. Facts are facts. You can't, if you believe the sky's red, it does not make the sky red based on your belief. The sky is blue. You can say it's red, but fact tells you otherwise. And ladies and gentlemen, this man right here shared a post and caved. I understand he's in Canada. I understand he plays for the Blue Jays. But this man apologized for something he believes in and then tells the reporters, "I'm using the resources of the Blue Jays to better educate myself on this subject." Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this is brainwashing. You know who did this back in the 40s? Nazis Germany. If you believed a certain way, they stuck you in an incarceration camp until you believe what they believed. Now, I'm not saying the Blue Jays are forcing this man, but him coming out, and the Blue Jays have said this too. The Blue Jays put out a statement where they said, the Blue Jays bring in millions of fans together across Canada and are committed to providing a inclusive and welcoming experience for all, the Blue Jays said in a statement. The Blue Jays are proud to celebrate LGBTQ2S+ Pride Month including a special 4th annual Pride weekend at the ballpark, June 9th and 10th. The demonstration allianceship all month long around the ballpark. Individual players' statements are not representative of the club beliefs. So, ladies and gentlemen, they're saying, hey, look, you know, forgive him. He's a dogmatic Christian, and he didn't know what he was saying until we talked to him and we educated him. Going back to Toronto's manager John Schneider, indicated he believes there needs to be more than just an apology from Bass. We're not going to pretend like this never happened, Schneider said. According to MLB.com, we're not going to pretend like it's the end and move on. There are definitely more steps that are going to follow. So look, the Dodgers have problems, but I'm glad the Dodgers ain't doing this to Crenshaw. Crenshaw they're letting him speak, and he's boastful about it. Now, it could mean because it is he's the ace pitcher, so they're giving him special treatment. And I never heard of Bass until now, but the Toronto Blue Jays are saying, listen, you crossed over that line. Apologies are just not accepted no more. It's going to be even worse for you now. You get what I'm saying? So we're gonna punish you even after you said you're sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad. Look, he's in Canada. He does not have the First Amendment to protect him. But ladies and gentlemen, if I was Baz, I was asking for a trade. Because look, I said something I believed in. Y'all making me apologize, and there ain't too much making. He basically said, oh, I'm gonna apologize. And now they're saying, hey, they're gonna be reprimandums for you saying that. And ladies, look, I'm gonna say it right here before I move on to my next subject. It's funny how the left does this. You do something. I always said this: if a conservative does something wrong, they wanna skin them alive and hang their carcass on the wall. But when someone on the left says something idiotic, you know, let me remind you, whoopee, says something stupid on television. Oh, she took 2 weeks off. And she gets a slap in the wrist. Whoopi, don't do that. Then Whoopi, a couple of months later, did the exact same thing again. And she didn't go on vacation that time. See the hypocrisy in this. And this is why I'm going to say, Christians, stand up. Look, I commend Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers. He did not agree with his organization. And he said, I'm not going to agree with it. And besides that, I'm going to make something for the families and honoring Christian faith. I was against it at first. My opinion has changed. I'm human. I could do that. But look, I look down on Toronto Blue Jays for telling this man, hey, you can't speak your opinion. You have to apologize. You have to go through our re-education program, and then we're still going to punish you for it. Christians, hey, look, Jesus said it. They didn't like me, so they're not going to like you either. All right, moving on. I want to talk about the gubernatorial race here in Louisiana. Heated race. Everybody in the nation is watching this. And ladies and gentlemen, the reason I'm bringing this out is because, unfortunately, here in Louisiana, the first punch has been thrown. And it's coming from a PAC. I think it's the Reboot. Let me go ahead and pull up the email because I want to make sure I'm saying everything right on it. But according to the... where's it at? Yeah. So, Jeremy Alfred went ahead and put a, and this is, Jeremy Alfred is, he has a news letter called The Tracker, and it's also everything about Louisiana. And there has been an ad out there that came out on YouTube and on YouTube, television, and radio, where a PAC that supports Stephen Waguespack, one of the other candidates, a Republican candidate, has thrown mud in this first. They threw the first punch. Now, I'm disclaimer right here. I don't know if Stephen Waguespack is in association with the Reboot Louisiana PAC, but for a candidate to not say anything after this, 9 out of 10, he is somewhat involved. That's just his normal way of thinking. But Attorney General Jeff Landry is more than 2,000 points ahead of his fellow Republicans in the gubernatorial race. Ladies and gentlemen, this race is going to Jeff Landry and Sam Wilson. One of those two guys will be the governor of the governor of Louisiana. I know my Republican friends that don't like Jeff Landry is, oh no, it's Jeff Landry's ahead. And this is why I call on my friends that are legislators to introduce a bill that would go ahead and do primaries. Of course, a lot of them won't do it because that is their cushion job. But here in Louisiana, the reboot of Louisiana went ahead and put this ad, and it claimed that Jeff Landry failed as the Attorney General of Louisiana. Why? Because crime rates are going up. Because Louisiana is suffering with crimes and everything like this. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not Jeff Landry's job. Jeff Landry is the top Attorney General. He does give opinions and all this stuff. He has done things where he could to stop John Bel Edwards from proceeding with a lot of things he has trying to push in this state, and has won. I think he has a perfect track record against John Bel Edwards. I'm not 100% sure. But ladies and gentlemen, we have 64 parishes in this state. We don't do counties. If you're listening outside Louisiana, we do parishes. They all have a DA. And like, look, I'm going to get there. Like my DA in my parish is letting a lot of crime slide. How do I know this? Well, Citizens for a New Louisiana has put out a recent article where it's called A Stench on the Tetch. And it talks about how St. Martin Parish's DA is giving less crime, less charges, or they're not pushing enough charges on there. Or there's certain crimes that are not being pursued. And the perpetrator, whoever it may be, is walking around willy-nilly. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you honestly, now the Attorney General can investigate the DA to see if there is any wrongdoing, but he can't push charges on these crimes that the DA of my parish is not pushing. So, ladies and gentlemen, what is Attorney General Jeff Landry going to do? Also, I think in this ad, they quoted how certain cities, the statistics are riding with murder. Well, what are the three cities? I'll tell you right off the top of my head: Shreveport, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans. New Orleans being the top. Why? Because they're backed by Democrat mayors, and also the DA of New Orleans is a Soros-backed candidate, and they're letting crime slide because we know the Democrat Party is a lawless party. Now, like I said, I don't want to attack Stephen Wagaspack, but this is wrong. Stephen Wagaspack, who is a businessman here in Louisiana and well known, should have called the reboot of Louisiana PAC and say, hey, pull the ad. But he isn't going to do that because he benefits from it. Because there's going to be people that watch the ad and don't know what happens in government or don't know what's going on, and they're going to say, I ain't voting for Jeff Landry. I ain't voting for Jeff Landry. I can't believe Jeff Landry did that. Because they're going to believe something that don't have all the facts involved with it. So that benefits Stephen Wagaspack, or that benefits one of the other candidates. But I commend the other candidates right now because they're not attacking, or they're not using PACs to attack Landry. And this is a whole thing this is why Louisiana politics is so screwed up, especially in the governor's race. You have one Democrat running with 20 different Democrats involved, and they say, oh, well, we want people to have a choice. I'm all for people having a choice. Let's do a primary. Let's do a primary to where the Republicans get together and say, look, we like Landry, we don't like this one, or we like this, we like Stephen Wagaspack, but we don't like this. Let us make the decision in a primary system, and then let's go to the general election, where it's between we already gonna know it's gonna be Jeff Landry and Sam Wilson, and then you're not gonna have people butthurt because weird how Louisiana does it. They do the election in October. It's the jumbo primary, and then it goes to November. The Democrats have figured out how to win. How? Well, they run one Democrat where they all get in their room and decide, hey, we want Sam Wilson to be the next governor, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna let him run, and nobody else is gonna run. They have another Democrat, but they're not pushing no money to them. He's not getting revenue. There's no support. Everybody's supporting Sam Wilson in this race. They call him Pothole Wilson over here. But there's 10. I don't say 10, but there's I don't know how many Republican candidates. Off the top of my head, 6. And they're going to split the vote. Sam Wilson's going to win the jumbo primary. And then in the general election, you're going to have people butthurt because Jeff Landry won the race. Or the way he's looking right now. Let's not just assume, because anything can happen. But right now, the way the polls are looking, Jeff Landry is going to be in the runoff. You know what's going to happen? People in the other camps, Sherrod Hewitt and Schroeder and Ricky Nelson and Stephen Wagaspack, they're all going to be, oh, we're butthurt. We ain't voting for Jeff Landry. And guess what? We're going to have 4 more years of a Democratic governor that's going to be exactly like John Bel Edwards. See, people don't think like me. People don't. I'm not. Look, people that are listening to this, I think they understand. It's just I don't get people that don't think like that. Where they don't say, look, this is going to hurt us more than it helps us. And these candidates know that Jeff Landry is up by 20 points according to the poll on the tracker. So instead of saying, look, let's try to, what's the common good? Let's attack John Bell and let's attack Sam Wilson. No, we're going to go ahead and attack the one Republican in Louisiana that has stood up for us. And look, I'm not throwing shade on Sherrod Hewitt. I'm not throwing shade on Ricky Nelson. I'm not throwing shade on John Schroeder. I'm not doing that. But come on, if you're listening to me, y'all, the candidates, look, the common goal is to get the Democrats out of office, because look at this legislative session. If John Bel Edwards can't get it on his desk and veto it, he goes ahead and bribes people. Ladies and gentlemen, this needs to stop. If you're living in Louisiana, please remember, this needs to stop. This isn't helping Louisiana. It is hurting our state. And all you people on the other outside this state, I know what y'all thinking. Louisiana is a sportsman paradise. How do you have a Democrat governor? It's because of this. It's because we have Republicans that want power or cares more about their ego than the benefit of the people of Louisiana. And it is sad that it is happening like that. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back after a few moments.
Cheers and good on you, boys and girls. My name is Scott Ford, and I have a show on Rumble. It's the Scott Ford Show, all one word. The Scott Ford Show, all one word, and it's on Rumble. I'd be very happy if you went ahead and subscribed. Like Isaac, I'm a true American-loving patriot. Thank you, Isaac. God bless. Enjoy your life.
You're my peace of mind when this old world seems to get me down.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the third and final segment of the Cajun Conservative Show today. I got to remember to put my volume up on my mic or y'all can't hear me. All right, so a few things. You know, I'm going to mention it. Russia seeks arrest of Senator Lindsey Graham. The reason this has happened is because there's a video that the Ukrainian propaganda went ahead and put out, and it has Lindsey Graham on it, I think, saying some stuff about Vladimir Putin and Russia. So Russia now is seeking an arrest warrant. It's kind of, look, this is all for show, basically, because who in the right, you know, it's the same thing. I'm trying to think of what country, or I think it was Geneva Convention or something. We're putting an arrest warrant out for Vladimir Putin. It's never going to get executed. It's never going to get executed. And Russia's just trying to show their muscles. But ladies and gentlemen, this is what I'm going to say about Ukraine. I have my issues with it. Okay, I have issues with Biden pouring in tons and tons of money in there. But Russia is saying, hey, we could take them on. I hear people, oh, Russia could take out Ukraine. There was even something a while back where I was talking to somebody and it was like, America's so weak right now. I think Russia could take us out. Look, there's a reason why China and Russia has never attacked the United States. You know why? Our firepower is on top of the line. Russia was trying to invade Ukraine and they were leaving vehicles and equipment on the side of the road because they went out because they hadn't changed their oil. Okay? America militarily is solid. I think we can go toe to toe with anybody. And look, I read The Light of Liberty a while back, and that was written by Justin Nichols and Donnie Swaggart. And God's providence is on this country. I don't know how much longer with the rebellion that we're doing, but God's providence has been on this country. And if you can't say it's providence, as a country, we have some of the best luck ever. We beat in the Revolutionary War the top military in the world. Then they came back in 1812 and tried to do it again, and we beat them. We survived the Civil War. Most countries wouldn't. We've survived World War I, World War II. And if you think about this, World War II, the Allies were in trouble, but until Pearl Harbor happened, America finally got involved, and guess what? The Allies got stronger. Why? Because it came with our military might. The only way America falls is if we fall from within. That is scary, because I see that at work right now. It's look, history. Let's go back in history. How did Rome fall? Rome had the best military in the world. But Rome fell because of the bureaucracy and the inner trading and the politics. Okay, so that's why America needs to be careful. But Russia's saying, "Oh, we want to arrest Senator Lindsey Graham." No, it's not gonna happen. Now, I do recommend Lindsey Graham don't go to Russia. Then it might happen. And you thought that a basketball player was a problem? No, I think. It would be even worse than that. So, all right, let's go ahead. Yeah, let's pull that from Fox. All right, so Republicans hold FBI director raids in contempt of Congress over Biden documents. Now, we know that the Oversight Committee has been investigating the Biden family. Tons of information has come out, to no shock. The media has not reported on it, but we have trusted news sources that will go ahead and say that they're going to report it. And yours truly, when I see it, but the Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer is taking steps to hold FBI Director Christopher Wray in contempt of Congress after the Bureau notified the panel it will not comply with a subpoena related to the possible criminal schemes involving then Vice President Joe Biden. The FBI, though said Tuesday evening it remains committed to cooperating with Congress. Let me stop right there in that mid-statement. If you're going to cooperate with Congress, you need to give these documents. And so they say they're going to cooperate with Congress, which they're not, and will provide access to the document in a format and setting that maintains confidentially and protects important security interests and intelligence of the FBI. So this is what they're saying. We're not going to go ahead and give you these documents because we have special informants and investigators that are undercover. And we can't give you the document because you're going to expose these people. Haven't they ever heard of redacting a document to where you can just black out the names of this informant? Ladies and gentlemen, and look, this is a two-tiered justice system. This is the same FBI. Remember when I reported a while back? This is the same FBI, and it wasn't under Ray's, it was under Comey, but this is the same people. Because you change the leader, everybody stayed the same in there. That's why I'm saying you had the same organization say we're going to attack Donald Trump and we're putting all our forces on him. But Hillary Clinton was going to hold back. And this is what they're doing here. This is why I feel what they're doing. If they're telling Congress, no, we're not going to give you the documents, what is there to hide? If Biden is squeaky clean, like everybody on the left says, why isn't the FBI giving these documents to Congress? Ladies and gentlemen, and this is what makes it look bad. Now, it makes it like Christopher Reeves is protecting the president. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the danger of loyalty. Look, I understand what James Comey was doing was political. There's proof of that. Before you left to say, James Comey, Trump asked for loyalty and you criticize him. No, that was political. It is proven it was political. But ladies and gentlemen, this is where the FBI director needs to say, look, you know what? My principles and this organization deserves to get back on the right track. We're going to give him that. This is when loyalty hurts. When the person is doing bad and they still want to do. And look, if James Comey wouldn't have, if he wasn't political in his stance, I would have said the same. When Donald Trump said, "You're going to give me your loyalty," I can't. I'm a law enforcement officer. I uphold the law. I'm not condoning what James Comey did because, like I said, that was all a coup. We've got proof of that already. But ladies and gentlemen, this is where, look, it's been proven Biden and his family had backdoor dealings. I heard from Fox News this morning. I can't remember the guy's name. It was an analyst on there or whatever. He said, look, this possibly could be an impeachable offense. But, ladies and gentlemen, the FBI, don't worry, Mr. President. You're fine. We're going to protect you. And like I said, look, there ain't no records or anything. I'm just saying, this is how it looks. This is how it looks when Congress says, hey, we're giving you a subpoena. Now, I want to ask where all the left is on this, too. Because don't you remember when they subpoenaed certain people in the Biden administration and they said, not Biden administration, the Trump administration, and they said it wasn't going? Oh, you had the left. They're stopping the wheels of justice from rolling. We need to stop this. We need to. They're finding the law. What about this? Where is all the left? That's what I'm asking. Where is all the left saying, "Oh my goodness, they're not upholding a subpoena. We need for them to come forward and make the wheels of justice roll." You won't hear that. Why? Because it's Joe Biden, and it's not Donald Trump. And that's to sum it up, that's how it is. And this shows the hypocrisy of the left. Now, the same thing with the Republicans. The Republicans said, oh, they don't need to go. This is like, oh, they need to come. Now, this is a whole different situation, and I understand this because a lot of the reason they subpoenaed Trump's people was to find dirt. This situation, the dirt has already been found. They just need a wheelbarrow to bring it in. The FBI is, no, we're not going to do it. Now, what is going to happen with all this? Well, this, when it gets shaky, there's a criminal contempt, and then there's a civil contempt. I think they're going to go the civil route. The reason being is because it goes to a federal judge and don't go to the bosses of Christopher Wray's. And this is why, like I said, I learned that this morning. A criminal contempt, it got to go to Merrick Garland, and Merrick Garland got to go to, it goes to Merrick Garland, the Attorney General. Then he got to bring it up to the president, and they decide. Oh, well, they got to give him. Now, by standard, Merrick Garland is supposed to pull himself out of the case, but that's not going to happen. So that's why I think it's a civil, because civil to go to a federal judge, and the federal judge tells Christopher Wray, hey, you better give him those documents. All right, moving on. Man, something's telling me I need to talk about this. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about this right here. This is from ToddStearns.com. Foul. Chick-fil-A embraced diversity, equality, and inclusion. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the original owner of Chick-fil-A is not there no more. Unfortunately, he has gone to the, you can say the great beyond, I believe heaven. So he has passed on, and when he passed on, to be honest with you, I thought Chick-fil-A was going to change. To be honest, I'm surprised it's still not open on Sundays. And a lot of people say, well, this is a Christian company. We need a... So Chick-fil-A has joined the ranks of the national companies that have a diversity, equality, inclusion department, which explains why they are serving cauliflower sandwiches and kale salads. Chick-fil-A commitment to being a better together means embracing diversity, equality, inclusion in everything we do. The company announced it on its website. So this has been kept. They've kept this hush-hush for a while, according to Todd Stearns. Chick-fil-A did not want their loyal customers, mostly conservative Christians, to know that they had surrendered to an alphabetical activist, which is the LGBTQ community. Also, it came out through missionary Spencer Smith, that they held up this. I guess it was a trans person. I'm not sure, but they started holding up to equality and break. Now they haven't went ahead full blown yet, where they're supporting the LGBTQ community. But this isn't the same Chick-fil-A from a couple of years ago when I brought to my audience how this company had people lined up for miles and miles because they said we are for traditional marriages. Now they're setting up equality. I want to make sure I read it right. Diversity, equality, and inclusion department in their ladies and gentlemen. And look, I don't know what to read about this. A lot of people are saying, oh, Chick-fil-A's gone woke. Chick-fil-A, I don't know that. But if they're going this route, I'm going to say Chick-fil-A has changed when they changed their Sunday policy. where they're going to make their employees work on Sunday instead of go to church. Because that's the whole thing. They close on Sundays because they want to give their employees time to go ahead and worship the Lord. Now, look, like I said, the original owner is not there. So his original values, the one that started Chick-fil-A, ain't there no more. It's either run by his family or the boards. And ladies and gentlemen, this is why this is happening. I think people in that organization are more worried about the money and the backlash. And look, they haven't put rainbow cows yet. But ladies and gentlemen, we need to watch Chick-fil-A. We need to hold Chick-fil-A up to the standard. If you're a Christian company, you should not be promoting this anyway. And look, I understand diversity, equality, and inclusion. I understand that. You want to make sure your employees and the people that are there are enjoying their time in the restaurant. But those are the slippery slopes that lead us to CRT. And lead us to stuff that are not, that is not right. So I'm gonna keep an eye on this. I think I've seen it, and some told me, hey, talk about it, let your audience know about it, because I think we need to know about this. We need to know what companies are doing, because look, our voices need to be heard. Our voices have been heard with Target and Bud Light. They're coming out with a new slogan when companies do something. They say, hey, look, they're getting Bud Lighted. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a stench on these companies. And when you stand up, we've seen this already. When you stand up and hold Target and hold these other companies accountable, including Chick-fil-A, you can make a statement. Hey, okay, you can do what you want. Fine, do what you want, Target. Do what you want, Bud Light. Do what you want, Chick-fil-A. Do what you want. But I'm not going to spend my money. You're one customer. I might be one of thousands of customers. That's what these companies think. Like Bud Light, one person said they're going to boycott us. And it turned out to be thousands upon thousands that now they're in a hole for billions of dollars because they did one thing that ticked off their customer base. Just one. And people, and look, like I said, it even come to the point where, like on TikTok, this is a big topic. Chick-fil-A going woke. Ladies and gentlemen, it's sad to see a good Christian company being ruled by greed instead of standing up for their Christian values. All right, so one more thing I want to talk about, and that is Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis, ever since he has announced he is running for president of the United States, it has been a meteor firestorm on him. And I hate to say it, just not from the left, but also from the Trump camp, where they are calling him Ron DeSantimonious. They're calling him, I had someone, man, I can't think of what they said, Ron DeSan't it, or something like that. It was something that Trump supporters, and look, I'm getting some feedback on the last episode I did. Are you loyal to Trump if you support Ron DeSantis? And I've had people tell me no. I have said people say yes. So I've had a bit of mixed emotions on that episode, which is good. I like in the case of Chick-fil-A, I like diversity on that point. I like different opinions, and I want you to give me your opinion. But ladies and gentlemen, the left is attacking, and that's what I'm gonna focus on. Like I talk about Trump and his attack on Ron DeSantis, and it ain't right. But the left is targeting Ron DeSantis so bad right now. I've heard people call him Nazi. He's a Nazi. He's worse than Hitler. You hear a lot of people, the media coverage of Ron DeSantis deciding to run for president. I haven't seen it this bad since one of the guys ran, and that was Donald J. Trump. And this is why I tell people, and I'm just using logic here. I don't have poll numbers. I don't have statistics to show me what's all this happening. I'm just using simple logic. If the media is attacking Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis both about the same amount and just giving negative coverage, one of those two guys are going to be your next president of the United States. Because look, we know that. Look, in 2016, they skinned Trump and hung him out to dry, but that dude's carcass wouldn't wilt, and he became president of the United States. And ever since 2015, they have been attacking this man every day on the news. And look, like right now, Trump puts out a video, everybody talks about it, but you notice Trump hasn't been that big into the news. It's been a lot of Ron DeSantis stuff because Ron DeSantis is the latest candidate. And now Chris Christie is filing his paperwork, and he's going to announce next week that he's going to run. I don't even know why this man think he's going to win for president. He's backstabbed Trump, and 70% of the people are backing Trump. And all the rest of the people either voting for Ron DeSantis or they have not been decided yet, according to polls. So ladies and gentlemen, this right here, I know I'm chasing a rabbit on that, but there's nobody close to Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump. Donald Trump's been attacked every day, and Ron DeSantis, ever since he got elected, who was endorsed by Trump? Now, then people talk about that. Oh, he wouldn't even be governor if it wasn't for Florida. I don't think so. I think Ron DeSantis did a good job. It was a tight race that first time. The second time, you can't argue. Because Trump, I don't think Trump went campaign for him. But this is why the media is attacking DeSantis left and right. Because I think they know something we don't know. And like I said, I'm just simple logic. If the left's going to attack somebody that much, there's something behind this. And look, ladies and gentlemen, I think this Republican race for president is a lot closer than a lot of people think. Donald Trump would not be attacking Ron DeSantis like that if he honestly thought he was winning by 30 to 40 points. I don't think Ron DeSantis would even consider being president if he thought, hey, I only got 20% of the vote. It's going to be Donald Trump's. I'm not even going to wait. Now, we know it holds cloud. If you say you were a presidential candidate, you can get a spot on Fox News if you don't win. Or in Ron DeSantis' case, he's still the governor. And after that, he would have to wait 2 more years to run in 2028. And so that's where I'm just saying, like, there's something amiss that is going on in the Republican presidential race. And look, me seeing articles, I've seen multiple articles. I have one in front of me and I have another one where the media is attacking Ron DeSantis just as much as Donald Trump. That means that one of those two guys are going to be president of the United States. Like I said, it's early. Things could change. I understand that. But ladies and gentlemen, you need to, and look, I say this. The media attacked George W. Bush. They didn't attack him as bad as these two people. And the only one that I've seen the media attack this bad is Donald J. Trump. So buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's going to be a dogfight between Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis. And in my thoughts on this, I think Donald Trump should ease up on the attacks because the media is doing it. Now they're doing it equally, so I don't know if it benefits one or the other. But ladies and gentlemen, to be honest with you, I would love to see a Trump-DeSantis ticket. And look, there's no way Donald Trump wins for president. There's no way that Ron DeSantis wins for president. You hear all the pundits. But what if they join forces? Look, I like Ron DeSantis. I like Trump. I'm a DeSantis supporter. I think he should be president. But if Donald Trump would win the nominee, he still needs somebody to be his vice president. I don't know if that's in the talks. I don't know what's going on with these two guys right now. But ladies and gentlemen, I learned something. If the media is attacking him that much, they're worried about him. Because if they weren't worried about him, they wouldn't be attacking. You notice the media isn't attacking Nikki Haley. They ain't attacking Tim Scott. They ain't attacking Chris Christie. Which them they're gonna praise Chris Christie. Chris Christie, oh my goodness, oh, he's a moderate Republican. We could pull his strings. They're gonna help him. But all the other candidates, you notice they're not attacking. Not as much, at least. Only two, Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump. One of those two are going to be the Republican nominee. Let me say it like that. And possibly the president of the United States. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this show. I thank you again for listening to the Cajun Conservative Show. It's always an honor and a privilege for you to spend some time with me here today. Love you guys. Please remember to hit the subscribe button and follow button if you have not already done that on the platform you are listening on. Until next time, be blessed, be encouraged. Remember, Jesus Christ is King. He's coming back soon. He's coming, and don't be faint of heart because Jesus has overcome the world. If you want to know Jesus, your Lord and Savior, reach out to me. I'll tell you how to make Jesus your Savior and heaven your home. Until next time, be blessed, be encouraged. You have a good one.